Welcome to Align and Activate Raw Talks and Universal Truths. We're exploring all things spiritual, manifestation, quantum healing, channeling, light language, you name it, we've got it covered. I'm Activation Amy Goodwin, and I'm a light language channel and activator and a mentor for healers that are ready to live their life purpose and create their dream business. And today we have got the beautiful
Jenny Priestner, manifestation mindset mentor, master NLP practitioner, channel and healer. So I'm
Yay.
help people rewire their mindset and align with their authentic self so they can create a life that they are head over heels in love with.
Oh, I love that so much. So today we're going to be talking about why does mindset matter? So because Jenny is a manifestation, a mindset coach, I'd like to hand it over to you, Jenny, for the first part of this, just talking about why does mindset matter?
Honestly, I just feel like saying because it does, like an absolute drop might walk out situation. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if when people speak about rhetorical questions, like because it does. But I know that that's not why people are tuning in. They don't just want the obvious answer, they want us to break it down. So I'm going to start things off with a very, very, very simple explanation of this. So, why does mindset matter? Because everything in life, she's gone dark. She's gone dark on me.
There we
She's
are.
back. She's back on. It's like, who's turned out a light? Because everything in life, if you imagine it, if we say that mindset is the lens in which we see the world, it is our perception in which we see the world. So if I sat here now with a negative mindset, negative perception, how I'm going to see the world is through a negative lens. So then if obviously then I change this one to a positive mindset, how I'm going to see the world then is through a positive lens. So if we build that one back then, so our mindset kind of creates our beliefs and our perception on how we see the world, how we interact with other people, how we feel about ourselves. So that in a nutshell is why mindset matters, because I think it kind of decides whether you sort of are a super happy loving person or if you're just having a shitty time and hate life. It is all about mindset. And it can be something as simple as if we imagine like when two people see a bee, right? This is mindset, this is perception. The mindset of one person might be, oh my God, this is absolutely beautiful. This is a honey creator. This is a beautiful animal. And so their mindset is of something beautiful of this situation. Whereas someone else, their mindset of the situation is, oh my God, it's a bee, it's a pest. Get it away. It's gonna kill me. It's gonna sting me. And in that situation, two people have seen exactly the same thing, but their mindset has changed their interpretation and their um perspective of the world. So one then has just flooded the body with horrible chemicals of like, cortisol and stress, like, oh, get it away. And then the other one's like, oh my God, it's nature, it's beautiful. A little bit of dopamine because they've just got that beautiful connection to the universe and everything about it. So I hope that that was in its simplest form. But why does mindset matter? Because it does. I feel like this is where everything begins with mindset. So let's go a little bit deeper then. Now I've described that in its simplest form then. How would you say then that mindset matters?
Wow, I mean, I love the description of the bee. I mean, that's such a brilliant one. Yeah, because a bee, when I see a bee, I get excited. I'm like, oh my God, a fairy bee. But to somebody that's like, maybe been stung by the bee, or maybe has an allergic reaction to the bee, yeah, or maybe like is just generally fearful of like being stung, they're gonna have like a different perception. And one's not right or wrong. It's just that it's just a different mindset, isn't it? So it's like, wow. Okay, yeah. So why does mindset matter? Okay, so for me, in terms of manifestation, and I'm sure you'll probably agree with me on this one, it's like it's a focus-based universe, right? So where your focus goes is what you create in your reality. Okay, so I'll try and explain to you like how how I understand that it works, and you can let me know if this resonates with you. Okay, so the thoughts we think over time create our beliefs, right? So your beliefs are like compounded thoughts over time. So you've thought something often enough that it then becomes a belief, and then it's basically running the show. Okay, your thoughts create your emotions in your body. So your emotions are chemical reactions to thoughts that are now stored in your body, moving through your body. Okay, your emotions are meant to flow, right? Your feelings are meant to flow, ever changing. Okay, so because your thoughts create your feelings, your emotions, okay, these emotions then drive your external behavior. So your behavior, your actions then form habits over time, right? Now, manifestation, how it works is it is a mirror to your feelings and your thoughts, but in particular, your feelings, okay? Your feelings create, right? And there's a lot of difference of opinions on this, but this is what I have found to be true for me, okay? And I know that, the clients and everything that I work with, I find feelings more potent in terms of when it comes to manifestation. And the reason is because whenever we want something, whenever we desire to have more money, whenever we desire to have a relationship, whenever we desire to have a new car, whatever it is, the reason why we want that thing is because on some level it will make us feel a certain way. Okay, so if you think, if when you know that your thoughts create your feelings, right, you know that you then have power over your feelings, which then means that your behaviors, your actions, and the way that you show up in the world, and you being a powerful creator and attracting everything to you, you've got the power over that when you learn to work with your mind, your mindset. So I'm going to leave it there now because I know you're probably going to have a lot to say about that. So if you want to explain maybe how mindset applies to manifestation, and if that resonates with you, then yeah, we can go from there.
No, I feel like what you've just said there is super, super, super powerful. And I feel like I really want to go back over it with you and just break it down again, just so it's really digestible, because you've said a lot of information there that is absolute gold dust. But I feel like to other people, it's going to be presented like a gold bar, and it's going to be a lot to take. It's going to be a lot to sort of digest. So I want to kind of like just break down quite slowly what you said there, just
Right.
because I feel like with repetition and understanding, people are going to get it a lot more, and it's going to sink in a lot more. So we're going to do this together now. So we've got our thoughts, yeah,
Yeah.
and work through this one with me. So the thoughts
Mm-hmm.
are then, this is your belief system. So what you're thinking constantly all day long then becomes a belief. Yeah.
Yes.
So when we say as well that when we are rewiring our mindset, like when we do affirmations, this is why you have to repeat the affirmations. So then you start to believe it. So then obviously the thought then becomes the belief. So that's that one there. So we've got then the thoughts, and then the thoughts then become the feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what you're thinking, so should we get an example so that we've got an example to do something with?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Hit
Did
me
you
with
want
an,
me to give an example?
yeah, hit me with an example.
Okay, so probably one that a lot of people are gonna, connect with is the feeling of money. Okay, so thinking about money, right? So if you've been thinking ongoing around money, there's not enough money, okay, and you're having this thought, and you're interacting with people that are you're voicing this thought, you're speaking the thought out loud, and other people are then mirroring this back to you in your reality, right? So you're going, oh, I'm skin, and like everything's gone up, and all
Gotta
this.
work hard for things.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that's not, you know, people's reality, right? And we're not taking the piss here when we say this either. Like, we very much know that, yes, okay. However, right, if you keep affirming that out loud in your mind, first of all, because it's your thoughts first, and then you're giving voice to the thought, right? And then you're having conversations about your thoughts, and then that's being mirrored back to you, right? And then in your body, there's a feeling of fear around money. And you're like, yeah, it's like, contraction. I feel it as a contraction, right? It's like when there's not enough, it's like, I need to grab and grasp the thing. Oh my God, like clawing my way out of the never ending thing of like, there's never enough money, right? And then you're going to take actions from that place, right? So then you like maybe not going to start your business, you're not going to maybe ask for a raise, you're not going to ask, do you know what I mean? You're not going to raise your prices because you're like, people can't afford that, or because you've got the belief system because of the thoughts that you've been thinking constantly and the people that you're talking to and the feeling, the contraction of there's not enough. So then you take actions on there not being enough, and then because you're doing that, it's manifesting even more because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So you have to break that cycle, right? So do you want to talk about, I don't know, maybe how you would break that cycle?
Yeah, so the rewiring the mindset. So thank you for breaking that one down. I just felt like what you'd said was absolutely amazing. I just wanted to like chop it up and present it to the people in bite-sized chunks. What did you ask me?
How so in that instance,
Yeah.
then how would you break that cycle? Because it's all just patterns, right? And like we've talked about in previous podcast examples, something that I didn't say before as well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to say it now. If you're resonating with what we're doing here. And in previous episodes, are we calling them episodes? What even is this? What are we? What are
Episodes.
episodes? So in previous podcast episodes, right, we have talked about this in greater detail. So I think we talked about it in the We Are Energy, didn't we?
And
So
how to manifest anything as well.
yeah, and how to manifest anything. So each week, although we're talking about a very similar thing, we're kind of breaking it down a bit more so that it's landing maybe in a different way. So I've gone off on a tangent now. What was talking about then?
We was talking about reprogramming. So what we've said here is obviously you've got in your thoughts.
Yeah.
That then is obviously going to then create the feelings and your emotions, and then obviously then you're going to be sending this out, and then your behaviors or your interactions with people are going to be based on that. So if you imagine that that is a cycle that's going to be constantly happening to you at this moment in time. So this is why we end up in repetitive cycles. We end up living the same life constantly because this will just keep happening. Your subconscious mind, so you've got your conscious mind and obviously subconscious mind. It's not all of a sudden one day just going to be like, hi, I want to do things differently today. Should we try something different? Like, no, that doesn't happen. Like, your subconscious mind it wants to keep you nice and safe. It is a yes man. It just wants to do exactly what it did yesterday and the day before and the day before that because it knows that you can do it. It's like, yeah, okay, had a bit of a shit time doing it, but hey, we got through it. That's all that matters. We're here. We're alive. We're safe. So, in order to break that cycle, you have to be the one that tells the subconscious mind, like, seriously now, what are you actually doing? Like, this needs sorting out. So this is where we have to use our conscious mind. So you are the creator, the thinker, you are the voice behind the conscious mind. And you have to say to it, like, come on now, let's have a word with the subconscious mind. So this is where, and I know that people say it till the cows come home, but this is why affirmations do work. It's repetition. So this is why they used to make you do lines at school. I mean, I never did them because I was a really good pupil, but this is why they used to make you sit and write shit out 10 times because they were trying to like infiltrate your subconscious mind, like, I must not kick the ball over the fence, like, just that kind of boring stuff. So obviously, as a manifestation and mindset mentor, I do not get people to write stuff out because I don't know, yeah, it does remind you of lines at school, but what you can do is obviously affirmations, visualizations. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to tell the subconscious mind, like, it's okay to do things differently. Let's change it up a little bit. But in that process, it is going to become scared because it's like, never done this before. Like, is this okay? Is this safe? So again, what Amy was saying with the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions is you've got to It's like you've got to, well, you know the saying, fake it till you make it. And that's what you've got to do. It's like you've got to program your subconscious mind like, right, okay, this is the new thought that we want. And then this is the new feeling that I want. This is the new emotion that I want. And guess what? The whole picture is this is the new manifestation, the new life. This is the new eventuality that I want. So it's kind of like you kind of have to use daydreaming really to kind of come into it. Whereas obviously dreaming is you're asleep and obviously it's what is happening. But it's like you are creating the mental image, you are creating the thoughts and the feelings and the emotions to that. And then with that, that is the energy then that you're going to be giving out into the universe. And just to sort of drop in the law of attraction here, this is how it works with what Amy was saying. What we send out, we get back. So bringing in the old law of attraction. So yeah, law of vibration. If you imagine, you remember are they called Newton's balls? I don't think they're called that. Do you know which one I mean? Where you grab one silver one and it goes,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I feel like it's something like that. But
it's not
yeah, I
called
know what
Newton's
you're
balls.
saying.
It is something to do with Newton because it is to do with gravity, but I don't really
Yeah.
want it
You
that.
know what we mean, don't you? Them balls, like where there's like what, five balls or something, and then
Yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
on
So
either
what
side.
you do to one
Because it's
side,
quick.
the vibration
Yes,
sends out through to the other side
yes,
and it causes a chain reaction. It sends it
yes.
back again and it'll just keep doing it. So I think that to me, as I'm a visual person, that is a good thing of a representation of the law of vibration and the law of attraction that what you put out, you will get back again. So
Oh, so good. Yeah, exactly. That's so good. And I feel like I just want to expand on, like, now how in that situation, maybe where you're like worried about money or whatever, and then do you know what I mean? I want to just kind of expand on maybe how you would move through that a bit. So what I would do and what I have done, like, basically is and still doing as well, because it's an ongoing thing, right? Is that, like, so I just want to say this as well, like, with your mindset, you know, all of this stuff, it's like when you go to the gym, like, it becomes like a muscle that becomes stronger and stronger. But if you stop going to the gym and you stop, like, looking after your mindset, right, you're gonna go back to that default programming. So it does get to a point where you've kind of got like this baseline frequencies, baseline vibration, but you still got to be aware of your thoughts ongoing and how you feel, and you will know when your thoughts have been off, because you will not feel good, right? And over time, I notice with myself very quickly, I'm very aware of my feelings, and I'm like, instead of just so yeah, you can be with the feeling, it's important just to feel the feeling, but I'm very aware that when I don't feel good, it's because of the thoughts that I've been thinking. So I can actually trace it back and be like, why don't I feel good? And I'll be like, oh, I was thinking that thing before and I was giving energy and power to that thing. And over time, you close that gap more and more. So you catch it quicker. And it's like your feelings follow quicker. Does that make sense? Does that happen to you?
it does, it just what you were saying just then. It is a little bit of a slippery slope in the sense of when the change happens, sometimes you don't actually realize that it's happened, do you? You know, your mindset change, you'll just find yourself ruminating and a little bit of negativity and this isn't going right and that's not going right. And it happens unconsciously at first. Now, when you aren't conscious of your mindset to begin with, everything's unconscious. You know, you just constantly ruminate, I've got no money and this is shit and that shit. But when you work on your mindset, you start to become conscious of your thoughts and your feelings. But what Amy was saying there is every now and again, there is a slight dip down. And then how she notices it is with her feelings. And it's like, right, okay, trace that back. But there is a slight blurred area between the conscious and the and like with it just slip back in. It's like you don't go, oh, I've just had a negative thought that has impacted my feelings. Like it just kind of happens, doesn't it? And you're like, right, why am I feeling a little bit shitty? Right, okay, yeah, I've not had my mindset in check. But I think my example on that one, so 3 years ago, it is now, I had a hysterectomy, total hysterectomy with bilateral salpingo-oophorectomy. That is an absolute mouthful.
Jesus.
Geez, I know, yeah, I love it. It does sound like a little video game, doesn't it?
Wow.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so that is like literally everything all out. And I had that because of PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder. So whereas my mindset didn't just have that blurred lines kind of thing. I was like plunged into a negative mindset, like a suicidal mindset every month. And yeah, at first it was kind of happening unconsciously. And then after a while, as soon as my period had been finished, I kind of noticed when I started going back in it again. And I'd be like sat there, like just batten down the hatches because I knew it was going to happen. And so I feel like this is where a lot of my mindset techniques that I've learned, that I teach my clients with my coaching, is what I learned when I was in the thick of the biggest mindset battle that I have ever experienced and will ever experience in my entire life. And it's, from the absolute, how I was saying about perception being like, everything is absolutely rosy and merry, to like, what the fuck is this? And like mine wasn't anything to do with, like, mine was being plunged in it through medical and brain hormones and things like that was happening. So it was really, that was where I was having to really learn to rewire my mindset. It was a case of the universe was like, you've got this problem, Jen, fix it now. Like it was really presenting to me like, these are the programs that you're running, this is what you've got to try and do. So yeah, that's where I learned a lot of mine. So like where some people might see it like a gentle slippery slope, mine was kind of like, 2 feet in the deep end, boom, like sort your mindset out. So it's yeah, it is a tough one, that one, isn't it? You've got to try and it's the moment that you become conscious of it though, don't beat yourself up for not realizing that, oh, I've been like this for a week now. Why did I not realize this a week ago? It doesn't matter. The fact of the matter is you've jumped on it and you've changed your mindset, or you've decided to change your mindset in that moment. It's like saying, I'm going to keep using the gym analogy because this is a really good one, because your mind is a muscle. We don't walk about flexing it like, check my brain out, look what I've been doing. It just
Yeah.
is what it is. And it's like you've got to work it out. And by working it out, we have to do these, the mindset exercises of visualization, thinking positively and things like that. So, if you've not been to the gym for a week and then you go back again, do you sit there at the gym and be like, oh my God, I've had a week off, what have I done? Like, or do you just literally just write the week off, crack on, get back on your rower or your dumbbell machine or whatever you little gym goers do? I'm showing myself up here as a non-gym goer. I do yoga at home and I walk to school to drop my son off. That's my exercise. But yeah, just don't beat yourself up about, having a shitty mindset, because what you're doing more is you're just going further into a crappy mindset. So yeah, it's just, again, it is about being kind to yourself, being compassionate.
Yeah,
Ah.
I really love that you brought this up as well, because I know that this is something that like it's really easy to do on this journey when you find out about all this stuff, and in the manifestation sort of like community in general is something that we see a lot, is that like, and I know from my experience as well, it's like it's like, I know this though, why have I let this happen? How can I have let this happen? Right. And that's not helping either. Like, because then there's all this judgment behind it. And that in itself is a mindset. So it's like, it's more kind of being the gentle observer of your thoughts and noticing what's happening and going, this isn't, I think it might be Abraham Hicks who describes it as, this is not what I would prefer, right? Rather than giving it a whole story and going, and then I must have thought this, and then this, and then I felt this, and then this happened. Like I know that I've done that, because as you become more aware of this stuff as well, you can really get a little bit obsessed about it and be like, right, I need to figure out exactly how I have done this so that I don't create this again, right? And it's just like more a case of like looking at it and going, this is not what I prefer. What I would actually prefer is this. And it's just that gentle shift rather than that like all that judgment and all that like and then because you're putting that energy then behind it as well. It's just the noticing, and then the gentle shift of moving your thoughts towards what you would prefer, right? And again, I feel like this is really important to mention. Like, it's important to feel your feelings and allow your feelings. That's a big part of this as well. We don't need to give every feeling a story. Like I am saying, yes, your thoughts create your feelings, but sometimes it can be helpful to understand what has caused the feelings. But we don't literally need to sit there analyzing it. It's just that as you go more on this journey, you will understand. And I've understood that it's very easy then when you feel something to just go, I was thinking that before, I can see how that now has created this feeling. And then you just shift it. So to come back to what I was saying before about the money situation, so instead of being like, oh, it's the cost of living's going up, oh, skin, oh my god, and then do you know what I mean, and then going into all of that, you could say, okay, well, even more money is coming into my experience. I don't know how right now, but somehow, some way, I am going to be supported. I am now deciding, and decision is another big part of this as well. I am now deciding to live in a state of abundance and in a state of overflow. And I am deciding that no matter what happens, I am going to be supported. And that's the kind of mindset that, I've had like the past 2.5 years, where I've been like, I don't know where the money's coming from. And I'm not going to lie to you all and pretend like there's times when I don't think, oh my God, like I do think that. But I have been supported, and I have always somehow had more than enough money, right? Because that is my thought process. And I had to work on those thoughts before I could create this reality. And there's times when I am asked to revisit this, right? Like at the moment, I'm going through an expansion in my business where I'm like moving into something that's a little bit different with group stuff. And I'm being forced to re-examine my belief systems and what my thoughts are doing. So yeah, do you want to, is there anything you want to add to that, Jen?
Yeah, I like on something that you touched on there, and it is a mindset shift. And when you are reprogramming your mindset, it can in some aspects take a while to do, because obviously you are undoing programming, and obviously we are having to visit the belief system, the subconscious belief system. But you can, in any given moment, do a mindset shift. You can, at any given moment, decide just to go like that. And it is a decision, like you've said. And it doesn't need to be in a week's time, I am going to decide. It's like, no, 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 no. Like, you just say to yourself, you just stand, and if you find yourself on a path of mindsetness, that's not right, on a path of mindset thoughts that you don't want to be in, it's just stand there and just put your hands on your heart and like, in this moment, I am deciding to change my mind right now. And it literally is, you have the power, as Amy said right at the beginning, you've got the power over your feelings and your emotions. And I think that this is the most important thing that I think people feel. And again, we've touched on this in previous ones, that they just sit still and like the world and the universe and the life just happens to them. And like, so it's like, oh, well, I feel sad today because this happened to me. And oh, I feel happy today because this happened to me. But it's like, you get to think how you want to react to those situations. You get to feel how you want to react to those situations. So at any given moment, if you don't like what you're feeling, you can change it. It literally is that powerful, and at first it might be like, yeah, but I want to navigate back to that old thoughts and feeling, because that's the program that you are running. But it literally is, and this is how you rewire your mindset. So, you can do it gradually, building on it, but you can also do it within an instant. So those are sort of two techniques. But I will say as well, in something that I do with my clients in my one-to-one coaching program is we do like an internal dialogue diary, and we do that for over 2 weeks. And this is a way for them to get conscious on their thoughts, because most of the time when people are coming, they've got limiting beliefs, and then obviously they're telling themselves a story. They're telling themselves, like, their mindset is creating a story to themselves. And this is where it's happening unconsciously, so they're not quite aware of it. So what I am inviting them to do is to become conscious of these thoughts. So by making a note of these thoughts, writing it down, and then what I ask them to do as well is we work on some NLP techniques, some neuro-linguistic programming techniques that is going to help reframe this for them. So if they are having a negative thought and a negative experience, I ask them to stand and look at it from a different perspective. Okay, well, rather than being this, what else could it be? So yeah, these are all hints and tips that you can use as well to help change your mindset, change your perspective, change your experience. This is if we look at life as an experience, yeah, and we can either look at it with a negative mindset or a positive mindset. So you're either going to have a negative experience or a positive experience. And the fact of the matter is the choice is yours. And yes, quite a lot of people, and everyone can feel into this. They might feel like they've had a shitty hand in life. And it's like, yeah, but my life's crap because I went through this when I was younger. And I hear you, I see you, and I feel you. But you do not have to live that life, that existence anymore. That is a program, that is a story, that is a mindset, that is a repeated pattern that you are choosing to repeat to yourself constantly. And the thing is, though, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to be totally honest, some people, they have this negative experience, this story, this like, oh, woe is me, victim mindset story, playing my little tiny violin. But people, the emotions they put into that is what makes it create more. Sorry, like when people are sharing this story, oh, but this really bad thing happened to me when I was younger and this and that, but they've got quite a high energy when they're sharing the story with people. So the universe is like, whoa, negative story, positive energy, like as in like high vibrational energy. This person wants more shitty stories so they can share these shitty stories with other people. So this is why we're saying that your thoughts and your energy, so your mindset, your thoughts really are creating your experience. So yeah, if you have been dealt out a crappy hand in life, believe me that this is something that you can heal from, that you can grow from, that you can outthink yourself of this situation. And this is something that I have done myself. So, I've outthought myself on my childhood trauma of constantly being ill, of hereditary illness. So yeah, and other experiences later on in life, we don't have to fully invest in this shitty story that you keep telling yourself. You can make the change, and you are the change. Yes.
That if I want to clap. So you used to have like blood transfusions, didn't you? I seem to remember you saying that. Was that throughout your childhood?
Yeah, so I was born with a hereditary illness, so it's pyruvate kinase deficiency, and it's like rare as rocking horse shit. Like, when my brother was born 3 years before me, like not many people, like the NHS didn't know what to do with him. They're like, what is this? And he was a little guinea pig. Like, so I thank the universe that he was born first because they looked out for it in me. And I will be honest, if we think about this now, every time, I was like in hospital, or every time I had a transfusion, it's probably like, oh, no, let's buy Jenny a teddy. Let's do this. And one of the programs that I realized that later on in my life is that my body had become programmed to be ill, because it kind of had programmed itself of like, that when I'm ill, obviously, you'll get like, oh, people are like, oh, is everything all right? Is everything this? And you're taking on the sympathy of it. So one of the biggest programs that I had to break was the program of illness. And it's when we say that you have to outthink yourself of a situation, one of the hardest things that I had to outthink myself from is the mindset of illness. And I used to lay there So bearing in mind when I used to have transfusions, I had no energy whatsoever. And they always say, sorry, I'm just gonna anything that you want to manifest, it's like you've got to act as if, get into the energy of it. I remember being lay there having transfusions and I'd just be like, thank you, universe, for all the energy within my body. And it's like, and the universe is like, shut fucking laugh, like this is bullshit. And like, so
I didn't just look at the screen then, like, or he's watching on like an audio podcast. That was so funny. Like, just do that.
well, that's how it was. Honestly, I was just lay there. I was so ill, like lay in
Wow.
hospital, and I was trying my hardest to out manifest it. But like what we say is obviously you need to manifest with energy. And so what I
Mm,
was trying to do is I was just saying all the right things, but the energy wasn't quite there. So what I will say to you, and this is like a little energy trick, is you've got to try and learn to hack the universe. So what I did used to do then is because obviously I used to get fits and starts of energy. Some days I'd like feel on top of the world, and other days I'd want to like hide under the world. But on the days when I was on top of the world, that's when it's like, oh my God, universe, thank you for all the energy that is within my body. And what I'm saying to you now is that if you are someone that is maybe suffering with depression, or someone who feels that they can't outthink themselves out of a situation, think about what you want. So I'm just going to use depression as an example. So if you are depressed, right, but there are situations and snippets within your life when you genuinely feel happy. And it might just be a case of when your dog comes and sits next to you and you're stroking your dog and you feel an immense amount of love for your dog. Use
mm.
that energy and that emotion and that experience to manifest like, oh my God, universe, I am so happy with where I am right now in life. Thank you so much for everything that you are sending me and everything that I'm receiving. And what the universe is feeling into is it's feeling into the energy that you're putting out there right now. And it doesn't know that it's kind of like, well, you weren't feeling that 10 minutes ago when you was depressed and didn't want to be here anymore. It's not going to sit there and question like why you're changing your mind. It's just in that moment going to understand that your energy has shifted, your energy has changed. And there is an NLP technique as well that we do, which is called anchoring. And what we do is we get people to anchor in a feeling. So I feel like I might do a video on this one because I feel like it's too much to kind of do in the
Yeah.
middle of a podcast. But while you are stroking your dog, I'm just going to use that example. While you are stroking your dog and you've got these feelings of, oh my God, you are the only thing that matters and I absolutely love you and universe, this is what I really want. You can choose to like lock that feeling into your hand or, into a certain, just usually people just do it like an anchor. They usually lock it into like a sensation within the hands. And it just means then that when you are in a different situation where you might find yourself feeling depressed and anxious and like you maybe don't want to be here, you can fire up your anchor. And when you then press on where you'd anchored in this feeling, it does actually fire it back up again. So those thoughts, feelings, and emotions come flooding back in of like, oh my God, yeah, I actually really do love life. And so that is like, again, another little universal hack that you can sort of use to hack in your mindset. So I hope they kind of helped. A few examples of, yeah, your mindset might be here at rock bottom, but you've got to outthink your situation. You've got to out energy your situation and hack the universe.
Yeah, and I think, yeah, and I mean, in that situation, you were obviously so poorly as well, and I think that's super powerful because, excuse me, sorry. So even though you were having these transfusions and you were having them a lot as well, I believe it's like you still decided in that moment whether you felt it. I think this is why the feelings are important, right? The energy, right? But your mind, even in that situation, even if you wasn't feeling it then, your mindset was still moving towards, I am healthy. I'm so grateful. I've got so much energy. And even though you didn't feel it in that moment, there were pockets of time when you did feel it. And when you did feel it, then you were like riding the wave and going, yes, I'm so grateful that this is, do you know what I mean? And so you can reprogram your thoughts, and it's probably the most important time to do it when something is going on, because that is when you really do have the power. That's when you want to be starting to change it. When you triggered in a situation is when you start moving your thoughts towards what it is that you actually want. right? And you start, yeah, like it's, do you know what I mean? It's so, so powerful, like what you're saying there. I really do love that example. Really good.
I just got
Yeah.
a song in my head. Enough is enough is enough. I can go on, I can
Yeah.
go on. And it is, I feel like with mindset, I feel like people will, and this is mainly the work that I do, and it's like people will repeat the same old cycles, doing the same old shit, having the same old experience, but then one day, and they'll be frustrated, and then one day it will just get to, it's like, do you know what? I can't do this anymore. I really can't. And it is in that moment that you're like, right, okay, you start then to want to build yourself up. And I feel like those are the clients that I work with, where it's like, when you are sat just feeling lost, desperate, frustrated, crying yourself to sleep, like, I really just don't want to be living this experience anymore. Like, I don't want to be doing exactly what I've been doing. I want change. Those are the people that I work with, because it's like, this is possible. Change is possible. You don't have to, keep living the mindset of this old life that you have experienced. It is just a case of rewiring your mindset. And when you rewire your mindset, you change your experience. This is how you manifest yourself a new life. And when I speak about, sorry, I do apologize. I am coffee coldy today. But this is where, like, obviously my slogan is like, you can create your dream life. And I bet people look at like, dream life, you what? And I'm like, no, I'm not on about, a dream life. Let's go and get a yacht in the Caribbean and let's do this. If that is your dream, then we can build to that. But how about first, let's get you stopping from crying yourself to sleep at night. Let's get you out of your crappy job. Let's get you in a solar line business. Let's get you off them shitty dating sites where you're just meeting dickheads. Let's get you meeting your, that's a different story. Let's get you with your soul partner. And then each time is a level up and a level up. And somewhere at some point in your life, you will be sat on a yacht in the Caribbean, but you're not going to get there from crying yourself to sleep at night to the next day waking up to a yacht in the Caribbean. If you do manage it, let me know, because I will come to you for some manifestation and mindset tips. But what I'm saying is it's gradual and it's your dream life. I mean, my dream life at once upon a time was just, like, again, it's thoughts and feelings. It was about living a life that I'm actually in love with. And yeah, I am in love with the life that I live. And I've got an amazing relationship with my boy, which I didn't once upon a time have. I've got an amazing relationship with my twin flame, which once upon a time I never had. And yeah, it's that whole mindset thing. Like, obviously I'm a homeowner, a mortgage owner. And once upon a time I used to look at my house and I didn't like it, and I used to struggle with it, and I used to always say to people like, "Oh, my house is a noose around my neck," and it's like, what kind of a mindset is that to have? And it's because at one point you thought, "Oh, it's draining me," but in reality, it's like, no, my mindset towards my house is beautiful. My house is, where this is my dream factory where I create dreams for all my clients because I work from home. So it is like just in this moment now, maybe just take a piece of paper out, pause this, take a piece of paper out and write 3 things down that you know that you are consciously like, I hate this in my life, and I hate this in my life, and I don't like that in my life. So these 3 things in your life, write them down. And I want you to just reframe it in this moment. And just like how I've just said there, I was like, oh, I used to say that my house was a noose around my neck. And in the end, it's like, no, my house is where dreams are made. So from these 3 things now, I just want you to just reframe it, just flip the switch and just think of something positive towards it. And then this is how the shifts happen. It really is as simple as that, as changing your mindset towards something. So I hope you do that exercise and I hope you find it useful.
And let us know in the comments, like, what were your
Yes.
things that
And
you
again,
changed
like and
around?
subscribe if you are liking this. And if you haven't done, go back and listen to the other podcasts, the other episodes, because they do kind of work on each other throughout the weeks. But again, though, they are interlinking, intermingled, and interconnected.
I love that. I feel like that's a good place to finish, unless you have anything else to say on this.
No, just to sum it up, mindset is everything. Your mindset is going to influence your behavior, it's going to influence your emotions, and it's going to influence your experience. So why does mindset matter? Because it does.
Because it does. And I
Because
just
it
think,
does.
yeah, and I think I would just like to add to that, like, this is a game of persistence, right? You can decide, and it can be very quick quantum jumping, right? And maybe we'll cover that in a future one, yeah. But it's a game of persistence because your thoughts and beliefs have been created your whole life, right? So it does take time to rewire your brain, and it does take persistence, but it's so worth it. And we're on that journey, aren't we? Do you know what I mean? We're not like saying to you that we're not doing this work as well, because we are, right? There's always going to be a new level, and you're always going to need to consciously rewire something else, something else, something else, and then ground into that, right? And so don't, be sat here thinking, oh my God, that sounds like, such hard work. Yes, it is in a way in the beginning, but what's more hard work? Living the same shitty, uncomfortable life, speaking from my own experience, and
And mine.
living Groundhog Day, or you're going to wake up tomorrow anyway, hopefully. For as long as you're alive, why not do this? Why not look at your mindset? Why not rewire your brain? Because why not, look at your thoughts and what's happening with your feelings and energy? Because what choice do you have? Like, literally, do you want to keep doing the same thing or not? Because things happen to us, but we have the power over our thoughts and reactions to them, right? And that is how you become a conscious creator. So I think that's everything that I want to say with that. That feels complete for me now. Does it feel complete for you?
Yeah, I love that. And I think that's just sums it up. We are conscious creators, we are master manifestors, and this shit's real, This
Yeah.
is what we're here to do. This is the work. So, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so thank you for joining us. And yeah, let us know in the comments below if you resonated with this. Please give us a thumbs up if you did, because it really does help the algorithm in terms of pushing this work out. Please share this with anyone that you feel would benefit from this as well.
And yeah, if you've got any suggestions for future content that you want us to cover, that you want us to go through, yeah, just again, put it in the comments. We're here for you guys. So yeah, let us know what you want us to talk about.
Okay, thank you. And we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.